And hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Millennials. I know it's been a moment. I am your hostess, Black Widow, aka Black Snow White. And also, some of you know my real name, but I'm not going to stress too much on that. It's been a minute, I know. And I had actually announced how season 2 is going to be and what we're going to talk about and all the guests that we're going to get and the co-hosts that will come. Well, it took me a little bit longer to get there because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that's happening in my life, but I'm not going to be like too much onto it. Today episode, I wanted to talk about a subject that I feel like right now it would be the right moment to type into it because it had intrigued me, and also I had considered myself in a very long time a part of it. And then I decided that, well, I'm going to reevaluate that because what does it mean exactly? What does it is show as what type of person you are when you're expressing this kind of concern and all this kind of thing? And trust me, I know it's going to be up to debate, and a lot of the comments will be heated and all that. But also, by the way, we have a YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube and you type Weird Millennial Podcast, you will find us. And also, I'm working on other stuff at the same time, but basically, it will be on the YouTube channel that you will be able to see our faces and the guests. But of course, that one for now is not available. But we are still going to make sure that the audio is available on YouTube if you want to listen to YouTube. But the main place that you're going to be able to listen to the podcast is Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all this kind of things. So we are kind of like, we are working hard on it. Anyhow, at least I do. So today's subject that I wanted to tackle, I think it will be the main point of discussion, and I hope that people will be able to comment, or if you have any suggestion, I will also put different links that you can find on the not what do I say website? I don't have a website yet. We're gonna work on that as well. As long that we get bigger, on the channel or website, on the channel page. Anyhow, so today I want to talk about activism in general, not just about one specific thing that I am into or not, but more about activism in general, about how it had evolved, how activism became more a show pony than just the real deal. Because there will be a long time that we were talking about that, and that shit was not happening at all. So, I was kind of intrigued for a very long time because I was thinking that I was also being an activist and being say that I'm going to say my opinion is going to change the world and all that and all that. I got very involved in some issues that I felt like it was important to talk about, such as racism, because for the audience that don't know this show, I'm Black, hence the name Black Widow and Black Snow White. I'm Black, I'm a woman in a Western country, and also my full name is also Muslim, so I'm telling you I have a lot of things going on. So I would say that the part that my activism have been always been there, it was for years and years and years. I would not say that I've never been active into trying to make people accept minorities or accept some issues that's going on. It's always been part of what I was, especially in a Western country. In my country itself, the activism will be like, well, we are sick and tired of politicians that are exploiting people who are abusing their power for a lot of things and all that. That would be also another sort of activism, but it's not that. The one that I want to talk about is more about the one that there's social media that we are more aware of, such as feminism, that one, race rights, gay rights, LGBTQ, all those kind of activism that we are doing, and also, of course, environmental, saving the planet and all that. First of all, lately I would just like, are we really being activists? Because there's nothing being done. We are going to yell about something and say that, oh yeah, this and that, I don't agree with this, we should change that. Yes, I know that last year in 2020, there were some changes that happened when George Floyd got unfortunately murdered by that guy, that cop. Some stuff have been pushed out. People were fed up, and also you saw protests everywhere around the planet, which was great. But since then, do you think that a police shooting black people has stopped? No. We don't talk about it anymore. We're back to talk about other stuff. We are not talking about those things anymore. And for a long time, I was just like thinking, I felt like I had to leave a lot of pressure. I was actually pressured as a Black person to kind of like put my input and comment about the fact what was happening to that man that I never met in my existence, in a country that I don't live in. If you didn't put anything and say that, oh yeah, Black lives matter as a Black person, my God, you will be looked aside as, oh, you're part of the problem, you're not trying to. No, it's just that if I am not aware of the situation, how do you want me to put my opinion? It's like when you're keeping saying all women have to be feminists, but they don't. Some of them don't feel like where they are is there's a disadvantage, so they don't see the point to put out any feminism market and say that, yeah, everybody have to have equal pay. Okay, but if you had chose to be a stay-at-home mom, what is your pay? Where? And also they will shun you to not be feminist about it, because again, it's an activism that you have to show and say that, yeah, we want the same right for all women. Well, excuse me, but I'm gonna be very honest there, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for that. They're gonna be mad because they're gonna get into their feelings instead of trying to be rational with what I'm gonna say. Feminism movement has started for a very long time, and we're still paying for tampons and pads for something that our body is doing every fucking month. How is that had changed anything? How come we don't have a time off for those 2 days of the month where we know that we cannot move? The cramp is so awful that you cannot function, but you still have to go there because you say that I want to have the same equal right as a man. But after that, when you're like in that time, you're just like, no. But I'm going to go back again to the racial activism that I've been asked to push again and again and again. At first, for anything that was related to what happened in 2020 with George Floyd, I'm talking about that specific event. I felt like I needed to speak up because we were able to witness something that it was so awful, but also inhuman. Treating someone that way inhuman, it will create a reaction in you. And also as human being, that's our thing. If you are staying there and watching something happen like that and being apathic, it's just to show that how lack of humanity we have. But if as a Black person, of course it's gonna light up anger, frustration, rage, and comprehension, and also fear. And yes, there were moments where I was just like, yeah, I need to do something, but I am stuck at home. We are in the middle of the pandemic. And also, even if I go protest, I was very mad. So I went. I said that I was there. I was just showing my support and say that, yeah, defund the police and this and that and that. But after a certain moment, like really, they will show other story of other Black people, but where was that energy when that kid, what his name, Trevor Martin, was killed? You didn't see the whole planet doing uproar and make sure that that man will rot in prison. He got freed, and he signed like some skills, like he was like, yeah, he's a sort of hero. A lot of Black people, male and other minorities, have been killed in the hand of the police because of prejudice. But instead of just us screaming, defund the police, and trust me, I was also part of the problem with that, because I encourage this kind of thing. Instead of saying that, well, instead of defunding them, is it possible to rewire their programming, meaning that you are gonna train them in a different way, or maybe have a specific unit to understand mental illness if there's anything like that. Here I would take an example because I live in Canada. Here are the minority that I would say that have the most mistreatment and disrespect and even less care about is the native. I am not one. I know that I'm part of a minority, but my struggle is different from what they are living, because my stigma is a little bit different. We have been able to be the loudest voice out there that people have no choice but to listen after a moment. But First Nations, the thing is, the trauma and also the wound is so deep that it's hard to have someone that coming from there and say that, yeah, but you're the exception. Of course, you understand better. It's just the whole journey is something else. And I would like one day to have like one of my friends and have a conversation about that, because that would be really interesting. And I don't want to turn this podcast into something activism and all that. But the last episode of the last season that we did, we talked about Palestine and Israel. Well, the issue is still there, but you don't see the media talking about it. So you don't see people being frustrated or mad about it. Now, we had also a moment where people were shocked to see the Taliban that came back, but still, nothing had been done really much about it. Your social activism, the one that you put on your Instagram, social media, all that is not that impactful. It's just saying that, yeah, I care. See, I did my part. I cared. Now move on to the next topic. It's just that every day is always a struggle. And also, if you don't post, people will make you feel bad because you're not posting. I didn't post anything about the Israel-Palestine issue because I don't understand that issue. I know that everything that is always out there, it doesn't need to impact you to understand what's going on, but it's something so complex. It's happening like this for over 75 years. So how do you think that little me, who have just less than 97 people following me on social media, being able to make an impact out there? It's like a grain of sand in the desert. It's just part of it. Even though today we have the medium to show and say that this is injustice, let's do something about it. We just share that and say this is injustice, and after that we go back to our life because we pat ourselves on our back and say that we did something good. Same thing with feminism, same thing for racism, same thing for anybody that get mistreated, and also same thing for what is called, and people who are protesting and say that climate change, like that girl. I respect what she's doing, but there's something that I'm just like, girl, you are targeting the wrong people. Because if you were protesting to have like an impact in the climate, those politicians would never be the one to make the change. They may be going to write the laws. They will say that, oh yeah, you need to reduce by this. The real one who have the power are the CEO of those businesses that make billions and billions on fucking up this planet. But you're still cool with that because you have your cell phone, right? But if it's just that I feel like the activism that we are doing since the beginning is targeting the wrong people. And now I'm just like focusing more on the climate change one, because now we are talking about it. Now it's a thing, and saying that, oh yeah, look, we are fucking up this planet. We need to save it. It's been a long time. But the thing is, now people are talking about it because the Western countries are impacted by it. For decades, what happened like in 85 or even before that, Africa was already living like some drought, famine, and all this kind of crazy thing. South Asia will have tsunamis, crazy things that are going on there, but nobody will say. People said, oh yeah, it's seasonal, it's normal. But now that we see flooding happening in Europe, destroying those very precious cathedrals, oh my god, and castles, seeing winter blasting off, going crazy with the extreme cold in some of the country. You will see hurricane coming into places that never went before. Now they're like, oh, we need to save the planet. Where were you 20 years ago when we already were telling you this is not normal, that we have drought for so long? But it's impacting just you. We don't care about you. We care about our money. So now that it's like affecting them, they're living and say that, oh, how come the summer is so hot? We told you for decades and decades. Pay attention to that. Pay attention. But no, it's nice to have those luxurious furniture with those very rare woods, that exotic wood. Sorry, because if I say rare, it's not going to work like that. Very exotic woods to just show how rich you are. The thing is, if you want to, there's no oh my god, it sounds like I'm trying to say that, yeah, there's a right way to be an activist and there's a wrong way, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just that the target of those activists are not right. It's not the right people. You talk to the politician, you know what, The one who's going to make him sign that bill or not is the guy who's going to pay him on the back. So one of those very super giant billionaire would say, well, I still want to throw away all this thing on the sea without you saying shit. I'll give you and also I will invest in the city or the state that you're in or the country, the place that you're in, more money, but I still need to throw away those disgusting things that pollute the planet. He would take it. So instead of saying that, oh, change the law, do this, do that, go to those big ass business, maybe boycott them, maybe don't buy their product anymore. When they see that, it's always when it impacts their wallet that they do shit. Those who will give you the fake activism and say that, look, we changed our straw, now it's paper, it's not plastic anymore. Yeah, but what about the rest? The cup, they want to cover the cup. What about the rest? You're still doing that. It's like also those who say that fast fashion, same thing. You're still producing that. If you want to really impact that kind of climate change, instead of just saying to the politician to write laws to change that, target the one who make the money, because they are the one who actually have the power to change it. Trust me. I feel like if a billionaire, and I'm not talking about what his name, Elon Musk. I'm talking about just a billionaire in general. If a billionaire, you be like, you know what, your company is cool, you have a lot of things, but what you do on the side is shady. I'm gonna stop buying your shit. Do you think he will be like, yeah, I'm not gonna be ethical still? There will still be others. Yeah, there will still other buying. But if everybody as a collective, we're like, you know what? Fuck this. We are not gonna buy none of that until you find a way to be more clean. Trust me, they will do it, because how I say that? It's a chain effect, meaning that people just leeching after other things. The super rich, they're after their money. And knowing that you, the consumer, even though you think that you're small and your black square on Instagram gonna do something, you not buying their product is already, even though you're like, oh, but it's nothing, it's taking out from their pocket. Well, you do that, you influence others and others and others and others, instead of saying that, look at me, I have the last Gucci bag, yo. And just say that, look at me, I decided to not encourage this kind of behavior with this company anymore. I'm done with them. I am not going to buy their product, not until they do this. And you have maybe 100 people or maybe 100,000 people following the same thing. It's a ripple effect. The more group it is, that's the protest that you show them. And trust me, those big ass companies will just look after money. They will find a way. They will find a way to have a clean a way to save this planet and have the climate change fixed in a very minor way. Because pushing the politician, they have barely any powers, because the real power is detained by the super rich. As simple as that. Feminism is a mirror. It's a smoking mirror. It's not true. It's not real. Well, at least modern day feminism is kind of like too much. It's very extreme. I remember that with one of my friends, we had a conversation about that, because she said that, yeah, I'm a true feminist, meaning that I am like one of the first generation believer of feminism. My way of feminism would not be the same way as those who so-called themselves in their bio and say feminist, activist, protect animals, is rainbow ally, LGBT, whatever other colors that they can follow with. And after that, they were trying to shut me out and say that you are not a feminist enough. It's just that there's no way to be activist. So your own way is still contributing, as long as that is not just a performative activism. And that's the part that I feel like now I am guilty of, because last year I felt like I was doing that. I decided to start to follow Black Lives Matter and say that, yeah, I'm going to be involved more with some stuff in my community. And then I realized that and say that, one second, what will be the conversation about? Are we going to be able to be honest with each other and talk about the real issues that are going on? Or are we going to just maintain the same ignorance and say that, no, you have to do this, no, and that, instead of trying to have a very more open-minded conversation. It's like a lot of things that you do. You share your opinion online, people would not agree with you. They're gonna choose violence with you with words because they feel they're entitled to tell you that your opinion is wrong and you have to agree with them, or that your opinion is so divisive that it will impact, it would just to make people get mad. No, your opinion is your opinion. You don't agree, well, move on with your life. Same thing with activism. There was some people would say that, you know what, I love my comfort, I love to blast my heater in the winter, I don't care much about the planet. Okay, I get that. But also get that after that, don't come complain when it's like a plus 50, very hot in the summertime, and say, oh my God, it's so hot, this is not normal. Yeah, it's abnormal. And now I sound like I'm like one of those mad activists about climate change. But I'm just saying that we actually noticed that the climate was started to be fucked up for a very long time. But did we care? No, because all the scientists, all our favorite movie that we call cult classic, we always see that one crazy scientist say that in a couple years we're gonna burn this planet, and nobody is listening to them. And now they're like, see, I told you. They were maybe the crazy one, but they told us, and we decided to say that, nah, the planet gonna catch up. It's gonna go fast, but we are like ensemble, and I'm not just targeting the Western people, but just global. We became so consumed by this insta fame that what social media is having is bringing us. And I know I'm saying that, and I am recording a podcast right now. It's hypocrite, right? But what would that be even more hypocrite to say that, well, I still want to be able to in maybe 20, 30 years when I go outside, I can breathe for free, that I don't need to pay for it, that there will be trees outside, that my kids will be able to run around a park and have fun. I would love that. Or that say that if I go to a place, I would not be afraid to say that, well, there will be a mega tsunami coming to my ass, or there will be a drought in another place, there will be flooding in this place, and that the ice cap is not melting around, and say that, well, you know what, the coast that you knew when you were a kid is not there anymore because everybody died of flood. I want to be optimistic with that. But activism also now became so radicalized that it just pushed the majority of people, I would say most of the people, to not be as open to this type of issues as they would be before. Because now it's just that if you're activist for something, you have to be 100%, you have to be dedicated. It's almost like leading to a cult-like behavior. You don't agree with that, you're part of the problem. It's not even like, I don't agree with that, I don't understand why you're making a big deal, school me, educate me. It's more, well, you useless, you're part of the problem. No, it's kind of like two people screaming at each other, not hearing what the other one is saying. It's when you have a conversation in the club, try to get that. Try to have a conversation in the club. The person is yelling in the other side of the room, talking about their own shit. You're talking about your own shit. None of each other going to the same direction, because everybody is stuck on their ways. They don't want to share their opinion. They don't want to agree. They don't want to even listen. The thing is, there's no listening in any part. That's why after a moment, when all the things that happened with George Floyd, all the protests around the world, I was like, oh, that's really nice. But the thing is, each of those places have also to confront their own issues. Australia was also protesting outside for George Floyd. I was like, okay, cool. What about the Aboriginal people that you massacre and you have destroyed their place for a very long time, and ostracize them, put them aside, cast them away, make them feel like they were less than? What about your own issue? But you are outraged for a black man that live in America. And I understand the empathy, and so it's important, but also it's always good to look at your shit in your face, in front of you, instead of smelling your neighbors. That's one of the saying that my mom would tell me, or anybody that come from Africa, they will understand, because our parents always come in with weird saying that we are just like, okay, that. After that, you saw also people protesting in Europe, for example. I'm just like, yes, let's talk about my home place, second home place, Europe. are you going to admit that, yeah, that colonization, all those dictators, it was part of your plan to placing those people so then you will still be able to exploit this continent, but pretending that you have gave them democracy and the freedom? That would be also a conversation they're good to have. That's why a lot of like those dictators that you heard about, especially in Africa, are just a part of it as well. Do you think that really they gave us like that independence? Oh fuck no! In the 60s, it was just a facade because they knew that America will be on the ass, and the rest of the planet will be like, hey, you want everybody to fight to get those Nazi out, but you still are the one having extreme power on those countries. So independence, air quote, which means that all of those countries, if you really think about it, all those countries that they say they're so poor and all that, but they always have civil war. Where do they find those guns if they don't have money to eat? Even my dryer agree. Where do they find our money? I'm sorry if I'm laughing like that, but just going there. It's just that now activism became something hypocrite, something that was coming out of a good base, where I say that there's an issue, we need to bring it up to the public to make them understand and see what's going on. Be aware and do something about it. It turned to, we're going to pretend that we are doing this, but behind we're still exploiting that. I'm not here to say that, yeah, well, what happened with Black Lives Matters is it's like, yeah, the white devil, whatever, because I am not like that. I was around a lot of different people who have a different background and learn about them. And that's the thing that I am proud of for me as a person. I am proud of that. Even though there were moments that I also had prejudice against a lot of different groups. But hanging out with each of them, I learned the nuances, because also it would be a hypocrite for me to be like telling them, well, Black people, there's also nuances. Yes, we have a majority of good people, but we also have a minority of shitty people. Same thing with the other minorities. Same thing with other religions. Same thing, like everybody have all that rotten apple somewhere in the tree. It doesn't mean that everybody in the tree is rotten. So if I want them to understand my perspective, I also have to understand where they come from. Not saying that, yeah, you have to be cool with someone call you the N-word, especially if they are not Black. I'm just like, no, hell no, not happening. But what I mean is just that if you call yourself a feminist and someone else call themselves a feminine, listen to them. Understand their choice, why they don't believe in your battle. Listen to what is motivating them to not follow through with your battle, because your battle is your battle. You're entitled to that. But my struggle is also my struggle. Respect it. If not, it's not because I don't agree with you and say that, yeah, feminism, I have to have my armpit and shaved, this kind of shit, this feminism. I don't know where that came from, but okay. So me putting shaving my armpits, my legs and all that is not feminist. That's ridiculous, because no, to me, my definition of feminism will be more close to equality, meaning that you respect me, I respect you. You treat me with the right way, I will do the same. But again, where am I to judge, right? One sec. Oh my God, this recording, just that 30 minutes. I'm gonna do another one. And I was saying again, yeah, so respect me, I will respect you. That's how we work. Feminism have to be equal, give and take. To me, is that's feminism. It's mean that, yeah, if I do the same job as a man in the office, because I know that physically, biologically speaking, I cannot do the same thing as another man. Let's be clear about it, because that would be selfish and lying for me, because I know that a man would not be able to push out a baby out of his vagina, and a woman would not be able to do whatever a man is able to do. So because first of all, a man does I'm not going to get to the gender thing. And now my other way to see that. It's just that I'm a mix of both, I would say, for the feminism thingy. Yes, I want you to treat me as an equal, but I want you to respect me as an equal. But don't treat me like I'm one of your bros, meaning that I know it's contradictory what I'm saying, meaning that I don't want to be put in a position where I know that your strength, where you have your strength, I have my weakness. We understand that part of each other. That's the way that I see things. You can say that, well, to me, the woman have to be at home and or just take care of the kids. That's your relationship with the person that you're dealing with. But for me, it's not the case. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's kind of thing like that. But also, I don't want it to be just to look like Bigfoot or whatever Yeti that you are, and say that you have to accept me the way I am and all that. And just to keep fighting with this kind of words and say that you have to impose that. That's another activism that I would need to talk about. That it pisses me off. Fat acceptance. Anyhow, that for the feminism, that for the racism, I said that already. The social, economical thing is the save the planet things. I just feel like the message is right, but the target is the wrong one. We are just targeting the wrong people to make the changes, because look, they have put those laws for years, and for the past 20 years they have been putting those laws out there and say that, oh, reduce the emission of CO2. Well, it's still even worse than before. So you can say whatever you want, as and say that, yeah, but they are politicians, they are doing the law. Yeah, they do the law, but the one who have the power is the one with the money, and the one with the money are the billionaires who are trying now to escape the planet to go to space. Okay, we agree on that. Cool. Because I want people to understand that one thing. Your battle, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but it's the case. Your battle is your battle. Don't let anybody else to tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone else to try to dissuade you. It's kind of like saying that, well, you see yourself, you say that your description, you're a unicorn, because that's my case. Who are you to tell me that I don't have the right to be the unicorn? I'm not trying to force you to be one, first of all. So don't force me to be like you. Same thing with activism. You can say that, yeah, you believe in this stuff, you understand, but if you don't see someone participate, respect their choice. You don't understand why they don't participate. It's not that they don't want you to say that, oh yeah, I am an ally, I understand, and I believe in you. It's just that they have multiple reasons. There will be silence. People can be silent for a lot of other things than just to say that, yeah, they don't want to share, they don't believe in your cause. Maybe your cause is also shady. Look, for example, Black Lives Matter in the States, people are starting out to unravel a lot of shady things that they've been doing. All those things that say that, yeah, we want to be involved and all that and help. Yeah, cool. You will see the Black Lives Matter campaign will go crazy for Black men being shot, but now trying to do that for a Black woman that being shot, yeah, they will talk about it a bit. Until now, nobody is still standing crazy, angrily, and protesting for Breonna Taylor. Nobody have been arrested for her. So tell me, why would I support an organism that make you just a show and not trying to really put the change that they are pushing for? Because now most of them, they're just famous. They're just known to be having a lot of followers on social media, being invited. Every time that there's something happening, even though they don't know the family, they will be invited to talk on TV on their behalf like they knew. Now you see the family of those victims started to speak up and say that, no, they never stand for us, and also for all those travels, we pay with our own pocket. So all the money that they raised, nothing is happening. So next time when you get one of your friends and something happened that is shocked to you, it makes you so mad, you want to share that on social media, do it, but don't go shun your friend and be mad at them because they don't share that as well. They have their own reason why they don't. Me, I had my own reason why I didn't share as much about Palestine situation, because first of all, I'm not an Israeli, I'm not a Palestinian. And I would not understand the conflict that they have, because to me it's basically it's two brothers hating each other just because they don't pray the same way that they pray the same God. That's my problem. That's how I see it, but it's more complex than that. And I cannot open my mouth and give my opinion on something that is that complicated. So that's why the last time I let more like my guests speak about it, because he understands the story, he understands everything that goes with it, the propaganda that is also perpetrated on both sides, not just the one, both sides. Because there's no trying to work together, there's no I would say a type of um uh community ship. Because we are really good to say that, yeah, we have to listen to each other, be able to understand each other or different point of view, but nobody is putting the effort to work on that. The same thing also for anything that is related to what's it called, I forgot. Well, anyway, it's just this kind of thing. It's also right now the thing that is just frustrating me the most with all those activists talking about stuff and stuff and all that is what happened with Dave Chappelle. I watched the special. I watched it from start to finish. And the only thing that I would say is just that those who are calling themselves no, activists, oh my God, want to talk about the fact that he's a transphobic and all that. I just wonder if they even watched it or they just decide to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, he is transphobic and all that, and be mad just because it's trendy. Because now it's the thing to talk about Dave Chappelle and also say that he's transphobic and be mad about it. I know that some people would say, yeah, it wasn't okay. Yeah, I watched the special. I was just like, yeah, some jokes are funny. Others I'm just like, yeah, not great. But there's also a double standard here that is at play for trans community. Those who are being outraged. It's just that one part you want to be included in everything, and the other part you're just like, nope, you cannot touch it. Don't make joke about it. It's like what another comedian I think said that um, they're all for the cause until it's good for them to get. Oh, well, actually, if I think it was Dave Chappelle saying that they're all for the cause and all that until it's good for them to get back to be white. Because don't get me wrong, I grew up in the LGBTQ community, so of course people will be like, yeah, but what do you know? I know, I understand that it can be offensive, it can be annoying, but trust me, as a black straight woman, we also have been the bottom of the joke, but you never saw us be like protesting and say that, you know what, we're gonna cancel him, everything stop, this is he is a misogyn or whatever. You don't hear that. You don't hear that because it's normalized that, yeah, we can make fun of straight people, this people, that people, but the thing is with comedy is that you're supposed to make fun of everybody because it's how you include everyone. But the point of that special, I watched it and I understand where he come from. It's just that people don't get that how your own community can return against you. Because he was talking about that his trans friend who stood by him when he did his other special, but end up killing herself because of well, I would say is part of, because he explained that way as well, and others as well, is it was part of all the rah-rah that the community was putting on her. And unfortunately, she took off her life because of all these kind of things and how toxic it is to be like in this situation with everything activism. It feels like it became like those beehive. And when I say beehive, I talk about the real bees, not the fan of Beyonce, but also that one is another problem, but same situation. Where you will see people just to follow as zombies. It's just giving that. They say that, oh, let's get I am outraged about this one. Everybody gonna have to jump in. Watch the whole thing. And that's how actually I learned to actually call myself a lesser activist, but more about a learner instead of I'm gonna just defend this and this and this. I would not say just do your research, but also Talk with people who don't agree with you. Talk with people who don't share the same opinion as you. Talk to the people who are fighting for those situations. Ask them that. The first question you will ask them is, why are you defending this? What is why this injustice or this disrespect or this behavior made you react that way? Why are you defending to protect this? If they're not able to give you a clear explanation, a rational explanation in saying that, well, statistically speaking, this minority is the one who are getting this and this and this and this. This is why I am thinking that it's unfair the way we treat them, and knowing that we have done the worst to them. It's the same thing when people don't want to talk about racism because they think that it does not exist anymore. It's over. Yeah. America had a black president. It's over. Yay. Racism solved. But instead, this is the kind of conversation that I would want to have with people who don't understand my presence in their country, where I would say racism is not over, but my experience. Not just that as a black person who was born here, I wasn't born here. I am an immigrant. This is a lot of minority shit that going on. An immigrant, a black woman, and all that, and living the experience of saying that you're not welcome here. And I will be like, bitch, do you think that your ancestors were also welcome to our place and kidnap us and force us to slavery? And now you just like, yeah, you're not welcome here. We took all of your money and now this? This is not a way to have a conversation. You have to understand one thing, that people work with, if it happens to me, this is how I will react. Not like I force you to listen to my condition because my experience is valuable, but yours is not. And I feel like that's what a lot of white people feel like, that they are forced to listen, that their experience is not valuable as much as a minority experience, which is not true. It is valuable. But what the minority trying to get the person is, I don't want you to walk in my shoes right now. I want you to understand that for a way too long time, you have been put on the sort of ahead of time. It's like a race. No pun intended. It's like a race. There's a different line, but the difference is me, I have to run with one foot, one hand tied on the back, and you have everything available, even a car and a chauffeur. That's the difference. Even though you think that your life has been harder than mine, that's the difference. Just understand that from the beginning. As soon that I walk in a room, people are already judging who I am without knowing me. But you walk in the room, people would try to know you. They would not assume that you're a thug, or if you're a black woman, or that you have maybe several baby daddy, that you're sleeping around, that you're promiscuous, this kind of thing. And if you're educated, same thing with people who are less educated. It's not because you went to school, to college, that you have a lot of debt to prove it, that is mean that you're smart. It just means that you had the opportunity to just waste money. Congratulations, you're part of the problem. Yay. So I feel like this episode is been like pretty heavy too. Damn, I wanted to do something light, talk about like normal shit things, man woman kind of relationship, everybody relationshipy, this kind of stupid thing. But instead, I just wanted to talk about the activism and the pressure to be activist in anything that you do, because I've been there. I hate it. It wasn't fun. And now it's just very frustrating when people are trying to tell you what to do or what not to do, because now people want to dictate you how to behave according to their agenda instead of letting you go with your own rhythm. So that was my point, is just that saying that stop pushing your activism on other people, because they don't understand what motivates you and what makes you jump into that. If you don't want to call me feminist, cool, I don't care. All I want is just that, to make sure that if we go to workforce, we are all treated equally, meaning that if me and Byron, I don't know why that name, Byron is doing an okay job and I do a better job than him, that I will get the salary that is supposed to be for the position, not because I have a vagina. That's all. Everything should not be put on a platter in front of me. If I have to do that race with all the other races of women, I don't want it to be the one that have the one leg tied on the back, the arm in the back, and supposed to do 10 times better than Becky, who is able to just run with her two legs and maybe have a chauffeur carry her. That privilege. Okay? That's what I want to talk about for the activism. And also, even activists are divided in within themselves, which is very frustrating as well. Nobody is taking time to listen to each other. All we do now is just shouting at each other and say, you better just listen to me, and my opinion is more valuable than yours. No, all opinions are supposed to be equally valuable, unless it's stupid. Unless it's very stupid, or when you say that Drake is the best rapper of all time, because seriously, you have ear problem. Anyhow, that was it. Thank you very much for listening for this episode. I hope that you at least it will get you to the point where you will think about activism and also people opinions and how you can share it or understand or listen to it. I don't know, just to chill with that, just make yourself more there. And of course, for anyone who are fighting for climate change, please, please, please target the super rich. Stop with the politician. They're not gonna do shit because they get paid by the super rich to ignore you. Okay? Oh god. Let's clear it on board. But anyhow, thank you very much for listening. I will see you next time. And also, if you're watching, you listen to the podcast on YouTube, subscribe, comment, and we will talk to you next time. I don't know when we will be the next time, but I will get to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.